Okay, so do you want to preface this whole thing?
Count us in.
Right.
Hi, people.
Hi. Oh my God, the pressure.
I have been looking at too many scores. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Ariana. This is Alex.
Alex, hi. Obviously, cheers, cigars. All right, so what we wanted to talk about today a little bit was to go over some of the notable results from the Crucible. I think just a couple of standouts. Obviously, you guys have the final scores and the final standings and everything else, but I think what we were most impressed with was just, I think, the amount of the quality of individual effort that I think went into this. A lot of people did a lot of things that they really don't have much experience doing, or they put in some really great efforts. And, you know, I think part of the format and not really knowing what other people were going to be doing and not really knowing what the results were going to be really made a lot of people push really hard. So there were some great ones, some very cool ones.
Yeah.
One or two minor tragedies of folks who we wish you'd,
Finished.
And because you would have dominated. But yeah, so let's talk about a couple of those.
All right.
So
do you want to start with pro men?
Let's do that.
Okay. Pro men. So we can just jump right into who could have dominated.
So yes. Are we screen sharing here?
I will in a second once I load it. So you can preface this.
Okay, so one of the strongest performances up until the very end. Do we want to do names here?
We can do names.
Yeah, let's do that. Kazdan, man, you
spending too much
absolutely
time
destroyed a lot of these events right here. You know, I've got YouTube Premium. We could have done that.
Heck.
With some outstanding, certainly strength results and everything else. But, well, I mean, maybe we can show some of those.
So this man's deadlift 705.
705 deadlift. Insane super total overall.
Yep.
And would have easily, what would you say? Probably have gotten, well, you certainly would have gotten a second or first?
First.
Easily would have gotten first. But you didn't do the kettlebell long cycle, correct?
I didn't see a score for it.
And so I guess which just goes to show that, yes, you know, I mean, amazing effort, probably absolutely just remarkable effort overall, and really stoked to see what you can do. Honestly, one of the most talented athletes all around I think I've ever seen, potentially. But, you know, if you leave one event out entirely, the score hit is just too big. So just kind of for next year, I think just a reminder to everybody, if you have one or two areas that you really excel in, sometimes just doing even a little bit in the areas you don't particularly care for can have a massive return on investment. You can place extremely well, even if you just, you know, do one or two repetitions of the kettlebell long cycle, or just turn in a couple miles on the run. You're obviously going to do infinitely better than somebody who just decided to kind of skip that portion entirely. So I think a big thing to keep in mind there is really just the value. Even if you think, okay, I'm not going to do terribly well in all of these things, one or two areas are really critical, and, you know, I know I can crush those. If you could just put in even just kind of a token effort in the areas you feel you're not great in, you'll do really well. And if you can push yourself really just outside your comfort zone on those areas, even if you're not even top 10 in some of the areas you're not good at, you'll still do really well overall. So I think that's kind of the big takeaway there. But what a phenomenal effort otherwise. I mean, just you know, incredible run over that period of time.
20 miles in like less than 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, just and solid. I mean, incredible wind gate, incredible power production. Yeah, great super total, like obscene super total, and you would have had it in the bag, man. So you know, just impressed, but also just kind of wistful that you didn't go out there and finish crushing it. So anyway, so there's that. Let's see, what else do you want to call out?
And you'll see this a couple times in the results, and I've even had a lot of conversations with people about their results.
Yeah.
As they see the scoreboard come out, and they're like, "Fuck, I should have done more. I should have done more on this," because like that one. Okay, so a good example of this is Dean. Dean, my boy, he missed third place by 1 point.
Oh no!
By 1 point.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Dean had
So close.
Yeah. So 1 point off, 23 and 24 behind Sean. So Dean had a massive super total, 727 kilos.
Okay. Yeah.
Great bike. His kettlebell long cycle was still pretty long. It was 60, but he only got, and I say only, 29 miles in the run.
That's still a crazy run.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But Sean got 37. So the difference in places between their runs is what really made the difference.
Yeah.
Because Sean got second and Dean got eighth.
Yep.
So it really just goes to show that like putting down numbers is so important in every event, because that could be the difference.
And I think the interesting there too is if you say, well, there's no way I was going to get another 11 runs to beat out the guy. And so, but you know, if you get even a couple more points in maybe one of the other areas and bump yourself up one spot there, that can be the point that you need, because everything is just an absolute scoring. It's in terms of rank. So if you just need to beat somebody by 1 point, or you're 1 point behind them, sometimes even putting in just a little more effort in an area that neither one of you are terribly competitive in is going to be all that you need. So really, it's you can't really game it. You really just have to do your best effort in absolutely everything to stand the best chance. Which is cool to see it play out. I think, because we talked about it, but like seeing it actually happen in real time and like cheering my nails, like, oh my god, who's going to put in what? So we had. Who else did I have? I mean, we could just talk about Alec. Alec and I talked about his performance in this. And I mean, Alec was gone. He went to Iceland and France in the month of October. So he would travel twice. And he said the main thing he focused on was kettlebell practice. That was like the one thing he really focused on, was that kettlebell. And he ended up getting 104 reps on the kettlebell. So he got second place in the kettlebell, first place in the run, fifth in the super total, and sixth on the bike. So it's like that kettlebell, man, I really think that snuck in. Yeah, it did. And I mean, what was the top kettlebell score? So that was Ross. So Ross is the gentleman who actually did our instructional video for it. That's right. He's just a gem. Ross, I love you. Thank you so much. He ended up doing 226 repetitions with a 70-pound kettlebell. That's insane. Like mind blowing. But I think that's really cool too, because if there's an area, because when we're going to do this in the future, and we are definitely going to keep doing this next year, we're going to have probably potentially more than 4 events, and we might have them deliberately be something that not a lot of people have expertise in. But if you know you can absolutely crush it, you give your best possible performance, you're going to leave everyone else fighting for second or fighting for third. So you're definitely going to be able to kill it. So in that points race, we definitely tried not to. I wouldn't say we tried not to give it to Alec. At first we were going to say, okay, you know, none of our coaches can be eligible for it, but Alec, this was such a dominant performance. I think just so strong or all around that I think it really conveyed what we were looking for. So, I mean, just awesome effort by everybody. Okay. And so the winner on the women's pro, by the way, turned in an absolutely insane performance as well. Yeah. I don't want to mispronounce your name. I'm assuming it's Chana. Yeah. I was just, you know, the performance you put in overall. So obviously, you know, definitely has a strength background, 378-pound deadlift. What else did she put down? 30-something mile run. Yeah, 37 mile run, 32, 37? 35. Okay, I was right in the middle. 35-mile run. And apparently, I think I saw on the Instagram back and forth that the weather was absolutely god awful for that. So much credit for that as well. Yeah, right. So this is her 378-pound deadlift. Yeah. Just flies like. Whoa. Yeah. And again, I think that's, you know, it once again goes to illustrate this is somebody who's obviously an outstanding strength athlete who just ground out outstanding run. So love to see that. That was so cool. Just what a beast of an athlete overall. Right. And I was talking to her about the kettlebell, and she was like, I would rather run 35 miles again before doing that kettlebell. But even with that in mind, like, let me stop this so that I can
But even with that in mind, I think, what did she get? She still put in such a solid kettlebell, 110 reps.
110. Wait a minute. What was that? She put in 110 reps. How many kettlebell swings is that? Next one down? 210?
210 by Lorraine.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Lorraine, Jem. Oh my God. Lorraine and I were going back and forth. She was like sending me videos of her kettlebells. She was like, please make sure this counts. Incredible athlete.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Nice yeah. So those are definitely standouts.
210. And that's for women, that's pretty heavy. That's what, 45 pounds?
I believe so. Yeah.
So I haven't done it yet. Please don't blame me.
So yeah, great stuff there overall. Also, we did have a couple ties there as well.
Yeah. So we had a lot of ties for third. So we had pro men was actually a clean slate, but pro women, Shelby and Liz got third.
Yep. And so let's talk a little bit about the difference in results there and how they did. So tying for third, and let's kind of look at the different areas of proficiency here, or different areas where they pushed it.
Do you want me to share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you guys all have access to this information too.
Yep. Okay. So first of all, the run difference between the two. We don't have to give names, but let's just talk about the difference in run. So one run distance was 12 and one was 26, give or take.
So that was Liz actually biked.
Okay.
Liz biked like 90 miles.
Okay. So did it as a bike for 90 miles, which we then adjusted to the run because we did have that calculator. Yeah. Okay. So there was a difference there. So, one person beating out the other one there. So super total was very close, in fact.
Yeah.
Within 15 kilos. Now, here's where the difference came in. So the Wingate was, of course, flipped the other way. It was actually relatively close to the Wingate, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 529 to 464.
Yep. But of course, the kettlebell was where the difference came in.
Yeah.
And of course, the kettlebell, and now we realized when we were putting the Crucible together that obviously some events, since we didn't have weight classes, some events would be very challenging for smaller people. For example, the kettlebell long cycle, if you're not a big person, that's going to be a big chunk of weight. Yeah. Of course, some people like, Alec is not a particularly heavy guy, but he tossed it around. Mm-hmm. But other people, if that's not kind of your, necessarily your area of expertise, you're going to still try to get 1 or 2 repetitions, but that might be about it. And that could be very well what happens.
Yeah.
Of course, being lighter is going to make the run section a little bit easier. So that's kind of why we tried to game it the way we did towards, 2 strength events, 2 strength focused events, and 2 endurance focused events, each which rewarded a different side of the spectrum with regards to power versus endurance. And I think for the most part, it played out very well because here you had,
as intended,
here you had 2 athletes who came from very different kind of proficiencies, with one of them on, one of them absolutely, winning on the super total and kettlebell section.
Yeah.
And then the other one winning on the other 2 sections. And of course, that resulted in a tie. So this year we didn't have tiebreakers. And I think a lot of that was because we really didn't think we were going to get to that point. And, luckily we did actually have the awards to go around. Next year, we're probably going to have a mandatory 5th event for people who want to complete it pro. And so that's going to kind of serve as a tiebreaker regardless. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a little more multidisciplinary, may have an agility component. We may tweak a couple things as well. I'm thinking of perhaps tweaking the Wingate a little bit because I know depending on the gear that you use, you get different results.
Yeah,
and we tried to account for that. But, there's still a little bit of flux in there. But, we'll talk about that going into next year. But again, great example of how athletes of different backgrounds and different body types can still very much compete against each other. And in this case, you basically go, neck and neck.
Yeah.
And I think, turn in both very good results. Yeah. So very cool, very impressive.
Total beasts.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I've got here. Yeah. So we didn't talk about scaled men.
Yep.
So Bruno, I just want to shout you out. Your snatch was beautiful. And I know that's like a really awkward thing to say, but it was a beautiful snatch.
Still a nice compliment.
And okay, so this is like my favorite thing. I was watching everyone's videos, and Bruno and Steve in Dallas, 1st and 2nd place, are training buddies. And I could see that they're lifting on the same platform and filming each other. So awesome. Like Bruno would do his lift and I would hear Steven go, yeah, man, come on. And like I would hear the opposite happen. And then to know that they got 1st and 2nd was just like so cool.
That's awesome.
Cause like the hype was there and their lifts are so solid.
Yep.
So guys, that was cool to watch. Yeah. Thank you. That was really cool. And then Jake, I loved your crop top. Do we show his crop top?
Honestly, Hell yeah.
Okay. Because like, okay, so Jake's super total was massive. I think scaled men is another example of just very different athletes coming out with the same score.
Yeah.
Because we had Jake, Gan, and Patrick all ending up with the same score.
Yep.
But like their runs were totally different.
Let's see, what was the swing we had in runs? We had
15 miles for Gan.
Yeah, between 8.7 and 15 mile swing in the runs.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the swing we had in the super total?
So Jake's was in the 700s.
Yeah. Yeah, some really strong performances there as well.
But then Gan coming in with 302 reps on that kettlebell long cycle.
Insane.
Which is insane.
That's insane.
But that's what made up for the fact that his win gate was almost like half of what Jake's was.
Right. And again, because so much of that is familiarity as well.
Yeah.
You know, something like the Wingate, it's an interesting time domain to, you know, kind of put down effort in. So you're going to get different results. So if that's not your area, you know, don't let that hold you back. Just kill it in something else and you'll do really well.
Yeah. Just excellent example again of like, okay, so I just want to feature Jake's crop top here. I'm just such a fan. I might send you one, Jake, like a legit crop top. Look. But okay, so this is 320 freaking pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Just casual.
Yeah.
And this is what I think is the most impressive. I don't think I saw more than one of you guys bench with a spotter.
Nice. Yeah, it's actually true.
Like, guys, I didn't see many squats with spotters. You guys are out here doing this by yourself, which is like, I think what you and I talked about with the nobody cares.
Mm-hmm. There was just a lot of individual drive here.
Oh my gosh.
And
just
I think
beautiful bench press.
Yep,
like
good lockout.
Yeah.
Definitely paused. So I think that was the other thing that we really wanted to drive home. Like, obviously, yes, you know, get a spotter for safety. 100%.
Me just sitting there like, oh
I think the number of people who just went out, and this is one of those events it's kind of difficult to do because since there's so much time to do it, you know, in a lot of cases, there's not a huge social component. Like, much credit to you guys who are doing the training partners, but a lot of you folks are out there just getting it done. Nobody around you kind of, you know, was training for the same kind of thing. You were just doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the most remarkable thing is you literally had to do this for yourself. You had to decide how to game it by yourself. You had to decide how to train for it by yourself. You know, in a lot of cases, it was like, how am I going to do this in the best way possible? How am I going to arrange these? What areas should I push in? What areas should I, you know, kind of dial back a little bit?
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the intent. And I think a lot of folks here, I mean, I would say probably some people really surprised themselves because we've been hearing about people who really tried some of these things kind of for the first time.
Yeah.
And in the process did extraordinarily well, which is kind of why we're here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the fun.
I had a couple of people too who I convinced to stay in pro.
Yeah.
They really wanted to back down to scaled. And I was like, no, stay in pro. Like, just lodge some numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Do something that's actually going to challenge you.
Yep.
See what fires you up.
Yep.
See what you want to work on for next year. And like, the responses I've had from people have been so fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I did really well. I surprised myself and I want to do better next year. And just knowing that drive is there gives me the drive to, like you said, make next year better, make it bigger, add more events throughout the years that people can track their progress. The thing that was a huge thing too is no one really knew what to expect from anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No one knew.
Yeah, a lot of it's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Like what, you know, who are the athletes out there who can excel at all these things? And, you know, and again, absolutely by intent, I don't think there was anybody who came in like first across the board.
No.
And you know, that was part of it as well. We wanted to make something where we were sure that nobody would be able to absolutely dominate every single event.
Yeah.
There was always going to be somebody, no matter what you do, no matter how well-rounded you are, there's always going to be somebody who on their worst day can duplicate or exceed your best performance. And that's kind of part of the fun of all this is being as well-rounded as you possibly can, but still always feeling like no matter where you are, there's somebody to learn from in any specific area.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Let's see what else you probably want to get. Let's give a couple of other shout outs just on, well, I mean, you did most of the score review, so why don't you give a couple more shout outs here?
Oh yeah. Okay. So my brain, actually last night I had a nightmare that I got someone's score really wrong and forgot it, and they had placed first, and I had a nightmare, and my brain was
race
like,
director anxiety.
so I just want to. Terry did an actual powerlifting meet, and she did awesome. Heather Lawrence got first in scaled women. Heather got a 474 kilo super total, which matches some of the men's. So like solid effort, solid really effort from Heather. Excellent athlete, and she lodged 373 reps
and
in that kettlebell long
wind gate too.
Yeah,
really like that.
Yeah.
Strong wind gate. So excellent power athlete all around, put in good efforts everywhere.
Heather does mostly CrossFit, so that she's just got like that super great power engine.
Well-rounded.
Let's see who else.
James.
Yeah, I pulled out your quote, which was ended up doing this twice, the kettlebell long cycle, and you said that's 2 times too many.
I think that one was probably got the most loathing from people. Yeah, because it's painful. You can't stop.
Yeah,
even a 6-hour ultra, you can stop.
Yeah, you can
stop.
Stand
you can
still.
You can decide I've done 10 miles. I'm done.
Yeah.
The kettlebell, it's like, oh yeah.
I want to shout out Anthony Dorazio.
Yeah, buddy.
CO bro. He got 17 miles.
Good job, buddy.
17 miles on his 6-hour effort. And this guy was saying he wasn't a runner.
Yep.
And deadlifted 405 for the first time in, what did he tell me? Years and years.
Yep.
His deadlift surpassed his stiff-legged deadlift, which is the thing he wanted to achieve.
I mean, he does almost
exclusively
hypertrophy bodybuilding style training. So the deadlift is not a staple movement.
No.
So,
excellent effort. Peter McGowan did 9,000 feet of elevation in his run. 9,000, and you locked that in like the first week, Pete.
Yeah, that certainly gives you the great adjusted pace.
Right.
That's insane.
And still did 34 kilometers. Yeah. Just nuts.
That's a brutal event.
Yeah.
I love how Strava just labels these things like morning run.
I know. Just a casual
it's a morning run.
Lorraine, we said, she did her 6-hour effort on an assault bike. Lorraine. I know.
Wow.
Liz just finished a bodybuilding show too when she did her with
WBFF,
1 week
right?
out. Yeah, 1 week out. Got second.
Yeah.
Came in and got third in this, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And Teresa, I just want to point out Teresa in Pro Women. I had convinced her to do Pro. She tried to back out and do Scaled. I said no. So she ran 22 miles.
Good for her.
Instead, which is just awesome. Like just super cool. Who else? I think I got everyone I pulled.
Yeah.
Some massive runs.
Like I said, I think just some really cool efforts and a lot of people surprising themselves with what they were capable of. And so I think the shirts are all packaged and sent out, right? So we're gonna start getting out the rest of the prizes to folks.
First places, Pro Women, Pro Men, you are going to get a Olympic barbell from Zeus. And then the doubles pro team, you are going to get a set of bumper plates. We discussed this because I was like, I don't want to send 250 pounds of bumper plates to your 1-bedroom apartment. So we got that settled.
Cool.
And first form prize packs are going to go out there. They've got everyone set. All of you are going to get a first form prize pack. All of you are going to get shirts. I have your fittest shirts designed coming out to you now. Cool. So everything's going to get to you. And then everyone who ordered a t-shirt and event shirt, that is on its way to you as well, with a bottle opener, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff, crickets. So everything's on its way.
Excellent. And of course the cash prizes will go out fairly soon as well. I'm going to talk to some folks about that as well to see how you would like those delivered. And
in person, in cash, in an envelope.
Giant check. Pennies only, please.
Mail them a giant check.
Just totally useless. So anyway, so huge thank you to everyone for participating. It was very, very cool. Thank you, Ariana, for actually getting this thing moving. So when the Crucible was first discussed, it was quite a while ago, and I think bringing it to fruition has been a massive effort on her part. And Yeah, seriously, thanks to everyone who participated. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, the turnout and the responses just made us want to do it bigger and bigger. So it's definitely going to grow. Prizes are going to be bigger, more people competing, probably a little bit smoother with the events, but not even with the submission process, but just a little more clarity, I think, on some rules when people were kind of undecided on how they want to do the win gate, for example. So all of that's going to be coming. I think we have even training templates coming out if people want ideas on how to train for something this multidisciplinary. So all of that is in the works. And any parting words from you?
Thanks for putting up with me while I was scattered and trying to make sure everyone's score was right. And just thank you for being patient and putting forth such solid efforts, making this so fun as a race director. Like, I've got to say, there was no point where I was like, I regret doing this. Like, no point. It really just felt like super rewarding, and I just can't wait to keep making it bigger and grow. And especially coming off of a similar event that you all know about, but won't be named, but coming off of a very similar style of event that seeks to label the fittest elite athlete. And then coming into this event and being able to look at everyone's scores and just being like, shit, I wish these people were there. Like, fuck, I wish you guys were there. You would have crushed it.
It's always the other thing that we, kind of are continuously reminded of, is just the tremendous, I think, athletic potential that a lot of people have that they may not even realize. So to everybody who use this as an opportunity to do something you haven't done before, or do something you didn't think you'd be any good at and go out and crush it, huge props to you, because that's an amazing thing. And hopefully a couple folks have found a couple areas that they're actually talented in where they didn't know. And this is going to be something that continues to inspire you and even give you different ways to progress and to learn athleticism and to learn what you're capable of, and brings you new places, because that's been the ideal all along. So yes, thank you to you guys as well for really kind of giving us, I think, a lot of inspiration. So
thanks.
Cool. Cheers.
Go team. End.